Hello, it's Leigh here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I made these lovely paper dolls. If you find value in what you're seeing here today, please hit the thumbs up button, leave me a comment and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. So I've got a couple of ladies that I've cut out of Tim Holtz. I think they were found relatives and they've got quite springy looking outfits on. So this lady's holding a hat that's got flowers on it. She's got flowers on her jacket there. And this lady's wearing a flowery hat too. So I thought I'll give them a bit of a makeover, put them on a nice background, see how we go. So I've got a pile of fabrics and laces that I want to use here. And also I've gone through and torn up some strips of paper that I will use as the base for the fabrics to go onto. So once I've made the dolls, I'm going to glue them onto a sheet of this watercolor paper. But before I do that, I will actually paint the watercolor paper in some sort of springy looking tones. So I haven't done this before myself, and I got the inspiration for this from Junk Journal Joy. I'll leave a link to that channel down below. I've put down a base of that brighter coloured fabric underneath, and I'm just stitching on this particular lady some of this lace across the bottom of her dress. I think I might not go up any further because I've got those little stud things there, but I was thinking of attaching something nice and bright down the bottom. I should see if I've got some bright yellow fabric. I'm not sure if I have. Anyway, back to the sewing machine. So I'm liking the way it's starting to come together already. So, well, that's my first lady completed. Thought it'd be brighter. The fabrics themselves looked really bright, but then when I put them all together, they sort of lost a bit of their oomph. Now I just need to do my other lady. Right, for this lady, she looks a little bit older than the other lady, so I'm going to make her something more refined or less gaudy. So I've got all these neutrals here. I cut her arms away from her body so I can make her arms come over, over the top of the skirt when I get it on, like that. I thought that might look nice rather than being over the top of her arms. Okay, so I'm going to start putting some paper behind her. I've finished my two ladies off. So that was my first one. So she was the brightly coloured wild child. I'm thinking that I will put some colour on their faces and just liven them up a little bit. And then this is the second one I did, which was more like either she's the older sensible sister or maybe the other one's chaperone or something. She's got a little, she's not as flamboyant as the first one. But now that I've made them and I've put them on the page, they look really big. I just don't know whether they should have a page each or whether I can fit them on there. I love the way her bit here flows out to the side, and I think that sort of needs to be by itself without anybody else crowding in, unless I can put them, maybe find a bigger surface for them to be on. I don't want them covering each other up. So I've got it worked out. I'm not going to put it on a piece of A3 paper. I did have some 12 by 12 watercolour papers. I can get her there and her, no, I think it looks better the other way. If I put her on the right and this one on the left, so I can just colour this paper with my watercolours. I shall paint this and then get them down and see what happens from there. So I'm just going to gather up my watercolours and crack on with the background. I've taped down my piece of watercolour paper, stop it from bending up a bit. Got my Kuretake watercolours here. And what I've done in my palette is just put some ultramarine blue and some, it's like a light ultramarine blue, I'm not really sure what the colour is called. Just going to put some water across the top of my page. So I want my paint to spread. So it's a spring day. So the sky is going to be nice and clear. So I'm just going to let that do its thing. Just drop some of that lighter colour in below. I need some of the darker up the top again. Use some water to bring that blue down a little bit. Most of this will be covered over by the two paper dolls. Just going to blot some of that blue out with some tissue. Going to change to a flat brush. So off in the distance the hills would be lighter, so I'm going to use some of this colour, which is sort of an olivey green. I'm going to fairly watery mix of that. Probably need to put some water down along there. This is odd paper, I don't know. It was one that I bought off eBay when I was determined to learn how to use watercolours. It's an Indian handmade cotton rag paper. It's okay, but I find it's almost like, I don't know, what is it? Got something on the surface that stops the water from getting into it. Anybody who knows how to use watercolours properly, I'm sure would know what that is. Just add a little bit of blue to the green, and I'm putting that along the top here. Hopefully it's going to make that look like it's further off in the distance. Rinsing the brush, and I want a brighter green. Just looking at this palette, there's lots and lots of greens on here. More than I know what to do with, to be honest. So brighter, I'll try this one. It's a lot brighter. Put a bit of that in it. I'll just add a little bit of red to bring it down a bit. I'm not trying to do anything realistic here. Just an abstract background that looks like they could be standing in a garden. I've just covered over my so-called hills. Never mind. Go too low anyway. So taking that green up into the sky, just using water. Make it look like there might be some taller trees back off in the distance up there. So I'm not trying to get anything realistic looking, just a hint of something going on in the background, because it's mainly going to be covered over anyway. So down the front here I can go for a more yellowy green, pull some of that down. Wow, look at how much that's buckling. Can you see that? Look at it. And I'll add some yellow to it to make it yellower. Just going to mix some of these greens together. See, if I put water on the page and it just sits on the top. It wasn't cheap paper. I mean, wasn't as expensive as Arches or anything like that, but methinks me might have been ripped off. Okay, so that's the first layer. I want to let that dry, and then I can put some flowers and things, make-believe flowers, drop some in there somewhere. So there's a few different reds on here. This is like a magenta. I'm going to use some of that. And then there's this cooler red here. I think I'll use some of that as well. Well, it's actually quite a bright pink. I thought it was red. It's not. It's pink. Like, technically pink is red, but if you know what I mean. And this vermilion. All my colours are probably out of order because I didn't realise they weren't glued down into this box. I love these paints, but they have some shortcomings. And I tipped it up right the other day, and the whole lot of, oh, not all of them, I'm exaggerating. The majority of the pans fell out. So I'll start out with the lightest colour, which is actually this. I reckon I need some water on there. Somewhere for the paint to go. See, the water's just sitting on the surface. And if this is supposed to be 100% cotton, I thought that made the paint more absorbent. So if you know more about watercolours than me, which wouldn't be hard because I really don't know much at all about them. Feel free to enlighten me in the comments as to why that happens. And do you think I've been ripped off, that this isn't actually cotton rag paper? I use this smaller brush just to put some bits of water over here, see whether it'll work over this side. And changing to this colour, I think. Now the trouble is I can't tell where the water is. I know when I put it on the page, I guess it is spreading, bleeding a little bit. Maybe I put too much water on it. Anyway, doesn't matter, it's just a background. And I just want some little blobby flowers back here, just to go behind my two ladies. They could be at the races. All the big race tracks seem to have great big flower displays. I know here in Australia that they do anyway. If you've ever seen any footage of the Melbourne Cup, Flemington race track, oh, it's just beautiful. Okay, that looks nice. It's mixing with the pink and red. Just gonna let that spread around. I quite like that. Splatter some paint on and then spray it with water. See what happens. I like the serendipitous results. I want some white to go on there. I think I put some white ink on it, I think. I don't know whether inks and watercolour is going to mix together. I'm about to find out. Let's just go straight from the bottle. It's not what I thought it would do, but I quite like it. It's blooming. This one is magenta. I'm going to just drop some right on there, see what happens. Not what I expected, again. It's making some really interesting marks though. Shapes. This thing here especially. I bought one of those puffer things the other day. If you're enjoying this video, you like what I'm doing here today and you want to see more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. By doing that and turning on notifications, you'll know whenever I put up something new, so you'll never miss out on anything. Quite like that. The way that's blending, sort of. That needs to be dried. I like the way it looks. Happy with that. You can sort of imagine the ladies in front of it. She looks nicer over here because her colours are more similar to that. I had wanted her over here so that her ribbon thing, this, would float off to that side. You always have it coming over the front of her arms. Yeah, I think I can make it go the other way. Just push it through. The arms nearly broke off, like from folding them back all the time to do this when I was doing the stitching. I think she'll look nice there. Okay, I'm going to dry this. I've got some purple ink, so I'm going to put a couple of drops of this over this side. One of the ladies has got purpley colour in her dress. bit of magenta and some white. Let's see what happens. And I'll blow it around with the puffer thing again. I think it just needs a bit more intensity to the magenta. I'll put a couple of drops there. Spread them around. Oops. I think that'll do. I'll just spread that around and dry it again. And I just wonder if I need a pink one up here. Of course I do. There's no wondering about it. Let's do it. That is fun. Even though my paper's not flat. It does some weird things when you first put the ink on. It's bizarre. Whee. It's dynamic. It's like what do you call it? Like it's being blown around in the wind or something. Should I dare put some red on? Why not? I'm not going to put any white into it though, I'm just going to spread it. Yeah. Should have done this in the first place instead of mucked around with those watercolours. It's way more fun. What else have I got? Transparent burnt sienna. I wonder. I'll never die wondering what something's going to do, because I'm just happy to have a play. I don't care what happens with it. I'm not trying to get anything that looks realistic. Oh, I love that. What an awesome colour. Oh dear. They look like branches when they spread out like that. Okay, that's enough of that colour. I've got some yellow. I think it's yellow, yeah. Yellow orange. Yellow orange azo. I really should stop before I completely mess this up. I can't really. Most of it's going to be covered over. It's only a background, so what the heck? Go for it. I don't want it to mix with that purple because it'll go brown. It's raining again. We got flooding in Queensland again. This is the third time this year. At least I know our roof's not going to leak because we put a new roof on the house after the second lot. What's this? Turquoise deep. Ooh. Where can I put some of that? There. It's there now. Oh, I didn't put the lid on that properly. This is actually one of those puffers for cleaning camera lenses, that sort of thing. So it's hard work to get it to work actually. Like muscles like Arnie. That looks cool. I love that. The only other colour that I might put on there, deep violet. Okay, didn't realise I had that. This is an extra one. Didn't know I had this one. This is probably what I thought I was putting on before. what I expected it to look like. Oh yes, baby. That's awesome. It's a bit wet there. I haven't got any green ink as well. I love that. I love it. I love it. And I've got gold. I've got gold shimmer spray. I should dry this and then put the shimmer spray on. All that ink is dry now. And I do want to... Oh no, it's not. Missed a bit. I do want to add some gold. And I've got the gold shimmer spray, so I think that's what I'll put on there. I'm not going to spray it once I put my ladies on there. I think that'll do. I thought I just heard thunder. Will it show up? I don't know if it will. I can see it myself. And then I have some gold acrylic ink, which I'll leave that until I've finished. So I'm just going to give that shimmer spray a quick dry. It should be enough. Now this lady, she's going to go there. This one is going to go over here, where the purples are. Now, I had a different project in mind when I first started doing this, and I didn't make the flowers. I cut these flowers out of some fabric, and I actually put plaster of Paris on the back of it. I was going to do something completely different, and I'm thinking maybe I could just put some of them along the bottom. I don't know. In the corners. I don't know whether it needs it or whether it just looks stupid. Just another textural element in there. I've got a couple more, but I have to paint them. They've got plaster. I've got some of the plaster on them. Luckily, the watercolour goes over really well on these. Put that big one in the corner. Right in the corner, like that. I want her scarfy thing, tie going out of the page. I don't want to cover up the flower on the bottom of her dress though. So let's go like that. And then that one can go there. Like so. That one could go there. This one needs paint. Probably going to make the plaster fall off the back of it. It didn't with the other ones though, so possibly not. I'm happy for those flowers to be arranged like they are there now. Would have been better if I'd had a few more, but I mean I could cut some out and do them, but honestly I just cannot be bothered at this point in time. So I think this is what I'm going to do. In fact, it is what I'm going to do, but I'd like some sort of edging around the flowers. And I was just wondering if I can try this without ruining everything. Would it look good with gold around it or black? I think the black looks quite nice. They're starting to look a bit powdery again. We're just going to have to stay that way. Maybe I can put some medium on it, matte medium or something that'll take the chalkiness away. They actually had black leaves and things, not black, grey, around them before I cut them away from the fabric. They look quite at home there with that black. So you can see some of the grey on that one still. Haven't done that one. Haven't done this one. Bit too much on this one, I think, but anyway, doesn't matter. It's all fun and games. It's all a bit of an experiment, so I haven't tried doing this before with the plaster of Paris. I sort of thought, well, they use it when you have a broken arm or something to set the plaster, and my original plan was to make a doll, and I had a Barbie doll. I wanted to make an art doll out of it, and I cut all the hair off it, and then I couldn't get the arms and legs to come off. The idea was to take them off and reattach them loosely, but it must be a really good quality one because I got it from the op shop. But yeah, I couldn't get the arms and legs off. So she's got a G.I. Jane haircut at the moment, and nothing else got done. But then I thought, oh, okay, I'll make a doll. So I made like a clay recipe and formed up a body, and I was going to put a face on it, use a photograph, and I had a photo of Frida Kahlo, and I just couldn't get it to sit right. Nothing looked right. It just looked stupid. It probably, in hindsight, it probably didn't look as bad as I thought it looked. But anyway, so that got dumped as well. And I was starting to get to the stage where last time I did this collaboration, it was less than a week before we were supposed to have our videos in that I actually came up with an idea of what I was going to do. I didn't want to be in that situation again this time because it's really stressful. And I was almost at the point where I was going to tell Mariah that I couldn't do it this month. I just can't get it together. Anyway, then it's funny. Can your computer read your mind or something? I'm sure it does, because the next time I went on to YouTube to look at something, up pops a video about making an art, like a paper doll. And I thought, oh, okay, I think I'll do one of them. And as it is, I've done two. I mean, they're not fantastic, but I don't suppose they're too bad for a first effort. I think they look pretty good, actually. I reckon these chicks' arms need something around. They're too, yeah, so you can see where they end. Don't know how long this is going to stay on there. It's watercolour. Watercolour. Oh. You never know unless you try, do you? Oops, now. Oh. I think she looks better with a bit of black around the edge of her. So I'm going to do the same on this one. Whether it stays there or not, I don't know. As I said, it's watercolour paint. It's probably going to come off. Oops. There, that makes them stand out a bit better. So before I can change my mind about any of this, I should glue down these flowers. So I need this lady to stay where she is so I can put these in the right place. I'm going to tack them down. What have I got? Hobby and PVA, hobby and craft glue. This repositionable, dries clear. Do I want it to be repositionable? Not sure about that. What's this one? Stuck clear liquid glue. Washable, safe, non-toxic. Suitable for children. Goes on clear, dries clear. Washable, safe and non-toxic. Adjustable before setting. Okay, that'll do. And I want them around her a little bit. That's why I've left her where she is. So I'm just going to plonk a big blob of it down. And that one can go right there. See, these two girls, she thinks she's the rose among the thorns, but she is actually the thorn among the roses. Because she's the chaperone, the voice of reason, the party pooper. She's probably looking at her going, oh, look at that stupid outfit she's wearing. I know who's enjoying themselves more. No, that's mean. That's been mean to her, because she's got the best dress, I reckon. I did that one first, and I like this one better. I really do. I love bright colours and all the rest of it, but I actually like her dress better. I keep trying to pick the wrong glue up. I know what's going to happen. That glue is going to make all the plaster of Paris fall off away from the fabric, and I'll end up with just the plaster of Paris stuck on there and not the flower. I can see it a mile away. I really should make more of these flowers. Shouldn't be so slack. I love collaging. I'm so grateful that Julie got me into the Marguerite Miller collage challenge, because I'd had done collaging, but I hadn't done much, and now I'm doing it all the time, and I absolutely love doing it. It's so much fun. That's the way they're going to sit in there and amongst the flowers. I did want to put some colour on the faces, but I don't know what to use to do it with. Maybe I should just leave them black and white. I wish I could see that properly. I think I'm just going to glue them down. Be done with it. Put heaps of glue on, don't want it coming off. This is only an El Cheapo glue from the $2 shop. Don't know how good it is. I'm going to find out. If I come back tomorrow, everything's fallen off. I know it wasn't very good. There you go, lovey. Could call this chalk and cheese, couldn't I? Wouldn't it be terrible to be the chaperone of someone who is like a real wild child? Got into trouble, and then you get the blame for everything they do. And they can run amok. Pity about that black on there. Maybe I should tuck the flower over it. Try and hide it a bit. It's not so obvious now. The flower won't sit down. So that needs to all settle down a bit. But I do want to put some gold splatters in there. Let's put some ink into this watercolour dish. Like my new palette. It's a ceramic watercolour palette. I love it. This is the first time I've used it, but I really love it. It feels so different than a plastic one. It probably sounds stupid to say that, but it really does feel different. And this is acrylic ink, so I need to work fairly fast with this. If it dries out too quickly, I'm going to get my gold watercolour. Oh, come on. This spray bottle's useless. Don't ever buy one of these, they're useless. They don't work when you tip them over. They only work upright. I'm holding the paintbrush in my mouth while I spray this. Oh, God. Yeah, they're terrible. She can have some gold on her dress. I know what I want to put in there. A shadow, so they don't look like they're floating in the air. Could probably just use this. Oh, where did that land? I just put a big drip on something. Never mind. I'm just gonna use the green that's on the palette, and I've just mixed in a bit of that orangey colour with it, just to give a little bit of shadow underneath the ladies. Otherwise they look like they're floating in the air. It's a bit too much. It's mixing with wet glue. Alright, take it all the way across. So I've got my two ladies at the races. The lady on the right is chaperoning the young lady on the left, and they've been made from floral fabrics and papers and put onto an abstract floral background on watercolour paper. So I hope you enjoyed watching this process, and I'll leave you with this thought. that creativity is contagious. Pass it on, be kinder than you need to be, and I'll see you in the next video. So, hooroo from Australia. Bye.